influential, prominent, profound German idealistic philosopher and the founder of objective idealism, Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel said, "All that is real is reasonable, and all that is reasonable is real," meaning if it's real, then it's also reasonable in one way or another. If something has authenticity, reality, reason, character, sovereignty, distinction, and independence about itself, then obviously it is going to be reasonable also in one way or another, despite its character or way of presentation or representation before ourselves in the society or in general phenomena. But if something is real, authentic, and sovereign and distinct, then it is going to have its own reason, rationality, and criticality about itself that sometimes goes unnoticed and unrecognized by most of us, obviously because of our lack of reason, and also because we're asleep most of the time. We operate on the fundamental principles of ignorance, aggression, arrogance, ego, and we're also led and governed by a great deal of emotional, mental, psychological crises, desperation, frustration, suffering, conflict, that again leads to envy, jealousy, and harm for the others. And that means we are not able to, in this obviously internal battle and mental conflicts and emotional turmoils, able to identify the reality of things and the reason associated behind their existence. All that is real is reasonable, and also everything that's reasonable has their existence behind them, which is real. So it's reciprocal and correspondent and associated and coordinated with one another, even though we do not have the understanding to understand it or the reason to basically decipher it or decode it. But that's how it works. If it's real, then it's going to be reasonable, and all that is reasonable is also real, credible, tangible in one way or another, even though we refuse sometimes to recognize reason itself and the reality of things, because we live in imagination, fantasy, and we're also governed by emotion. We're emotional, and that's why we're not reasonable, critical, analytical, logical, and that's how it ruins our lives, because we're too emotional. We don't recognize the reality of things that are reasonable, and also those things are reasonable, that they are real, and they always and constantly exist in our surroundings.